This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
Finding quality, unbiased news in a world of disinformation marks those who lead from those who follow. The Financial Times is globally trusted for its independent coverage, so you can rely on what you read. Curious people ask questions. Successful people get answers. Financial Times. Fearlessly pink. Read more at ft.com/fearless.
The TalkSport Fan Network is proudly supported by McDelivery, bringing you the food you love. McDelivery brings a top-tier lineup of food right to your door. No matter the result, you'll always be winning with McDelivery. Order now on the McDonald's app and you'll get rewards points delivered too. So that ordering today means some tasty rewards for tomorrow. Only via app at participating restaurants. 18 plus. Rewards registration required. Points only on menu items. Delivery fee and terms apply. See mcdonalds.com.
I think it will. I think it's been a meeting today, hasn't there, about them going back to training in the Premier League. So yeah, I think if you can get through the next week or so, no scares and no more sort of people getting this virus. I think they will go ahead behind closed doors like the Bundesliga just this weekend.
Yeah, that was good to see actually. That there is some football live on the TV.
Yeah, well, everyone's missing it, aren't they? It's everyone being in lockdown in these strange times. Most people live for football, don't we? We live for it. So
yeah,
to not have any football available, and it's been a strange few months. But hopefully we're on the downward slide now, and we can get back to some sort of normality. And obviously football being the first thing on the agenda.
Yeah. Because we work in the pub industry, we're going to be last back into work. So. Not good. But anyway, welcome to everybody that's joined in with us tonight. Thanks ever so much for keeping the Tilton Talk show running. We do it for you. And you were with us from 97 to 2004, Bryan. And some great times back then, man. Some heartbreaks and some absolute, quality moments as well. Yeah,
it certainly was. The early on in them years, there was more heartbreaks than great moments.
We used to it, mate. We used to it. Look. See what it says here? Yeah.
Yeah, but Trevor established a really good squad. Each year on year. We were probably favourites to go up every year, but unfortunately we just kept falling at the final hurdle. Then playoffs were the death of us, weren't they? So
yeah.
But yeah, it was hard. Certain circumstances that you can't control at times. And you've got the calamity against Barnsley, which. That home game, which we will never forget. But yeah, we got there in the end. One of my first things when I came to the club was to try and get the club into the Premier League. I had ambitions myself. Even as a 20-year-old boy coming into Birmingham with all the stars that we had at the time, I still felt comfortable that I could really try and help the team get to the Premier League. But it just took longer than I thought, really.
Well, one of my long-lasting memories of your tenure, shall we say, or your reign, was telling my son that I'd take him to Wembley for the playoff final, and we didn't get there. And I rang him up, and I could just hear him screaming on his bed.
Yeah, it must have been hard. That's a hard one to take.
Yeah, he couldn't go to the game with me that day. It was at St Andrews, and we didn't quite make it. And so I rang him up, but no, he's had his moments as well. So. But it's nice to know that you can pass it down to your kids, mate. It's brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. it's another generation coming through, isn't it? You guys have seen all the highs and lows over the years. The next generation, hopefully, they can say similar things to what you have seen.
I know it's crazy. The crazy thing is, like when I used to go with my dad back in the early 1970s, like there would be people there saying, "Oh, I've been coming here 40 years." Right, I'm going there 40 years myself now.
Yeah, it sort of hits home a little bit more then, doesn't it? When you see these season ticket holders for all the years, they've got the names on seats and stuff, and it's them little privileges that make it all matter, really.
It's all right for Paul. He sits in the posh seats.
So how did it come about, Bryan? Obviously, you just scored against us for Wrexham, if my memory serves me right. which we'll forgive you for. Obviously, you did more than make up for that. How did it come about? Obviously, that it wasn't long after you did that, was it? That you came to us?
No, it was basically Wrexham progressed through and went to the quarterfinals. We went to play Chesterfield. Chesterfield got to the semis against Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
And Wrexham we had Chesterfield in the quarterfinals, so it was always going to be a League Two club going to the semis. We were favourites on the day, obviously because of the scalps that we'd taken. You know, Birmingham City, West Ham. We took a few scalps along the way, so people had us as favourites to go to the semi-final, but we lost 1-0. And up to that point, I didn't know anything about the Birmingham rumour. I didn't know that Birmingham were interested in me, and we lost on the Sunday. It was on TV on the Sunday, and I got a phone call the next morning off Bryan, who was my manager at Wrexham at the time, and he said the club have accepted a bid from Birmingham City. I need to go and speak to Trevor Francis that night, and Trevor was doing I think it was the Liverpool-Newcastle game, the 4-3 at Anfield. And I met Trevor after the game in one of the hotels in town with Mick Mills. And then we sort of thrashed out a deal. Then we travelled up on the Tuesday, got everything sorted, got a medical, signed the papers, and then I think we had a game that night on the Tuesday night, which I stayed for as well to see the team. Got introduced to the lads in the dressing room. And then that was it. I was a Birmingham City player from then on.
Fantastic. Who was your first against for the Blues?
Sorry, what was that?
Who was your first game against for the Blues?
My first game was the Sunday against West Brom. I was on the bench. Trevor put me on the bench. We just won on the Tuesday night. I think Paul Tilton scored the goal. And it was West Brom away. And it was the game that Brucey fractured his eye socket or cheekbone or something.
Oh, yeah.
We lost 2-0. I came on for the last 20, 30 minutes. Trevor introduced me, and then the games after that played the final 10 games or so. We went unbeaten after that, actually. And we just missed out on the playoffs.
Yeah. Remember it well.
Yeah. 248 appearances and 34 goals. I think Paul will remember every single one of them.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many memorable ones, Bryan. You know, some brilliant goals that you scored for us. The ones I would say for me, I mean, what? I mean, obviously not me, but what's your favourite goal for us? What would you say if you could go back and relive one goal you scored for us? Which one would it be and why?
One of my favourite goals was strange one. Was the penalty against Liverpool in the cup final.
Yeah.
You know, I wish it would have been the winning one. But it was the opposite way around. I had to score to keep it, to take it to sudden death. But it was one that really stuck with me, being an Everton fan against Liverpool at their end. That was one that I really remember. You know, there was a lot of pressure on me at that point as well, not to keep us in the game.
Yeah, but how close was you, Bryan? How close was you to winning that for us with that chip from almost the halfway line of the festival? Did you think that was it? I thought it was it.
Yeah. You get when you're playing. You know, I've said it a few times to people. When you're playing golf and you hit a ball, sweet, you know that it's going to be a good one for you, and it's going to go down the fairway. It's going to be sort of where you want it to go, really. It was the same sort of feeling even when I'd scored some memorable goals and some good goals where I've gone at plays and put things in top corners and stuff. I just knew when I hit that I actually thought it was in.
Yeah,
I couldn't have hit it any better. It was just a fantastic save, you know.
Yeah,
another yard outside of his goal, Westerveld, it's probably he wouldn't have got there.
No,
but he just got the slightest fingertip, didn't he, and just turned it around the post. But yeah, I thought it was in, and I was off. I was sort of off, getting ready to celebrate, and I was absolutely devastated when it went round the post.
Yeah, no, I was. Yeah,
but yeah, you know, people talk about some of my goals as well. You know, the Watford goal the week after.
Yeah,
you know, Trevor left me out of the starting 11 in the cup final. You know, I felt like I was gutted, but I felt like I didn't want it to get on top of me. I wanted to perform when given the opportunity. And after that game, I sort of wanted to show people that I should have been playing like that game. You know, and the way that goal against Watford, it was just a natural reaction to a ball that came at me. I've done similar things. Lads will probably tell you I'd probably do it 100 times in training, some similar sort of movements. But it came off on the night on a really slippery surface as well. You know, it was frozen pitch that night, and to keep it control and just guide it into the corner, which it was people will probably remember that's probably my best goal.
Yeah, I remember the one against Millwall when you kind of like nutmeg someone on the edge of the box and then curled it straight into the top corner. That was a great goal. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was good because of the camera angle. I think it was just again an instinctive bit of skill, and then obviously executed the way it did, which was obviously it looked great to the eye. And obviously, I was happy with it. It was a fantastic finish.
Yeah, definitely. But so many of them, there is we could probably spend the whole hour talking about just your goals for us.
Another one that I liked as well was in the Premier League when against Sunderland when Poom came out and
you knocked
it in first time on the volley sort of back with my left foot, which obviously wasn't my predominant foot, but I could use and I scored many goals with my left. But yeah, that was one as well. Especially I think that was my first Premier League goal as well, which was special. Yeah.
And then there was a brace against Leeds as well. I remember well.
Yeah, they were a bit more clinical rather than sort of the sort of spectacular. The first one was a tap-in, wasn't it? I just arrived in the box. And the second one, just the timing of my run. Lazaridis made a great run beyond the defence. I think it might have been Robbie Savage who might have played it to him. And he's just held it up and I've just timed the run. I'm just finished it.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Now, you're head of the Foot Golf Academy.
No, not anymore. I was numerous years ago. Yeah.
What was?
Yeah, well, it's a new sport that was starting. I got involved with the directors of the company. They asked for my input. I think it was back in 2012, 13. So it was a long time ago, and still going strong. It's all around the world now. Foot golf is they're big in America. There's about 300-400 courses now in the UK. So yeah, it was just I was helping them with regards to setting it up, and I was director of the academy there, getting the youngsters to. Basically, it was trying to get the youngsters to participate in the sport, which had links to obviously to football and golf, but mainly from my background was to the football aspect, the technical side of things, striking balls, accuracy and stuff like that. So yeah, it was good, great, and then I sort of left that role about 2 years later and got approached by a company called I2I International Soccer Academy. They were to oversee their head of coaching for a partnership that they were doing with York St John's University in York. So, and it's a private academy that's run alongside with a 3-year degree for all international students around the world, which I was back involved with that now as well. So I was there for 3 years before obviously Wrexham come and asked me to be their manager last season, and that ended towards the end, just back end of 2019, and now I've gone back in at I2I International Soccer Academy to try and carry on what I started off with them really.
Good.
And are you still playing at any level now, Bryan, at all? Obviously any vets leagues or anything like that?
No, not in leagues. I still play for Hull City. Obviously, I finished my Premier League career with Hull City. I still live in the area. And they've got an ex-Tigers sort of team that they play charity games, a bit like the Blues team. I've been meaning to come down and play in the Blues charity games. Just haven't had the time at the moment, especially last year with being manager of Wrexham. But yeah, I'm going to get over and definitely play in some of them. Obviously, when these lockdown measures and things can start again. But yeah, at the moment, it's just the ex-Tigers ones.
Yeah. So Tom Ross has been after you already, has he? Trying to sign you?
Yeah, they've asked me a few times when I've been over. To come over, some of the lads, Daly plays and Jeff, and Devs and Orson, all the lads, So, it'd be good to catch up as well.
Yeah. We've got a few of our fans' questions, if that's okay. Jason Willis is asking, have you spoken to Steve Bruce since you left? Obviously, you left us in 2004. Have you spoken to Steve Bruce since?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I've seen him actually. Seen him in pre-season in the summer in the airport in Farrow, because we've had a pre-season trip in Farrow at Wrexham, and he was there with Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah. But he was flying back to speak to Newcastle, obviously, because he was just about to join them. So I had a chat with Steve at the airport. But yeah, throughout the years, I've still kept in touch with him. You know, he managed Hull City. I've done a bit of media work for Hull over the years, as you'd expect. And I've seen him, obviously, had a few drinks with him around the area. You know, he's coached the team, Stephen Clements, Keith Bertram when he was there. So yeah, I still keep in contact with Steve. You know, Alex as well, his lad. So no, there was no hard feelings especially from that Leeds United game when he stopped me from having that penalty.
Do you come back?
Sorry, Nick. Go on.
Do you come back to the Blues much and watch a game?
Well, yeah, that's a couple of years. Yeah, I've been helping out with the media, you know, with Dale and Tats. And
right.
I've been doing the Blues TV with them, which has been great. You know, commentating in the country as well as doing the studio stuff. It's going really well there. I enjoy every minute. To be honest, I enjoy just walking back into the building. You know, into St Andrews. You know, spending that long playing there, 7.5 years, it still gives me shivers when I walk there. So it's just great to be back involved, even though it's on a media sort of side of things. It's still great to watch the teams, you know, have a good look at it with myself being a coach myself now as well, and just keep educating yourself on certain things. You know, Pep doing his stuff this year with the team, and just making notes and just keeping things in your diary for if any opportunities do come along.
Yeah.
Right. Right. We had a question posed to us. It's a generic question about Birmingham. You said you're not specifically about yourself, unfortunately, Bryan, but I did promise I'd read this one out. Graham Lysick says, will Pep return from Spain to finish the season? I have a feeling he won't come back and Robbo and Craig may take charge.
If it was me, my personal thoughts on that would be, I think Pep will come back.
Yeah.
I think he'll definitely, if the season starts again, I think he'll definitely finish the season. You know, some of the stuff that he's done this year with the team, I've been, you know, being a coach myself, he's been brave in certain things, you know, changing sort of the way we play, the tactics at times. You know, the introduction of Bellingham's been a massive hit.
Yeah.
And rightly so as well. You know, I know he's only 16 years old, but what an absolute talent. Unbelievable talent. The first time I'd seen him was against Wigan away this season. And he came on then. He only came on for 20 minutes. And straight away I said, this lad's going to go all the way.
Yeah, you just know, don't you?
He's an exceptional talent, you know. But yeah, I think Pep will definitely finish the season. I can't see him not finishing it, you know, and leaving the club in that sort of limbo. But, you know, he's been given this opportunity. I don't think he'd throw it away that easily.
No.
There you are, Graham. Thanks for the question. I'm glad he wasn't talking to me.
Yeah. Oh no, you know, that's just Daly's banter, innit? He's godfather to one of my children, Daly. We're really good friends, so it doesn't surprise me him coming out with things like that.
Mark Blundell's asking, Bryan, who was your favourite player you played alongside at Blues, and why during all that time?
My favourite player, probably the player that I played with right the way through my career. I'd say the best player I played with was Gary.
Yeah.
You know, I just at that stage, you know, then first couple of Premier League seasons when Christoph came, it was a time when I was getting myself more stabilised in the team as well, you know, in the Premier League era. And I just seemed to have a good connection with him. You know, it was good, and you know, he was a bit of a strange character off the pitch. I would say, you know, he'd go at his own pace at times, but some of the things that he'd do on the field were just like breathtaking. You know, World Cup winner, European Championship winner. You know, you've got to sort of respect these sort of guys, and he was such a down-to-earth guy as well. No, great sort of technician on the training. He'd turn up at training ground. We'd be in for 10 o'clock for a half-10 start, and he'd turn up at 28 minutes past 10. Just lethargic as you like, you know, with big long hair, take his clothes off, put his kit on, go in the training ground, out on the training ground, be the best player on the pitch. Just put balls in top corners all over the place. It was just incredible.
Yeah.
But alongside that talent and that natural ability that he had, Christoph, he was a great lad as well. Great lad.
Yeah. No, it was a pleasure to have him there for the time he was there. He was just unbelievable to watch as well.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that Southampton game sticks in my mind, the 3-2. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I scored in that
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
You know, it's known as the Gary show, wasn't it? But yeah, I scored the second, I think it was. Yeah, second. But yeah, he wasn't with us that long, but he made a lasting impression on people. You know, and that's no disrespect to any of the players that I've played with in my career. You know, some of them have played 5-6 years with. Christoph was just a special talent, and you need to applaud him for that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, he was coming from obviously a background as well with some of the best players ever to play the game, like Zidane and, you know, Thierry Henry and Petit, and, you know, Vieira, people like that.
Well, Zidane put him in. He's done his best 11 teams, isn't he? And Zidane, Christoph was in his best 11, and it's the amount of players that he's played with.
I know.
Imagine some of the talent that he's played alongside. It's just phenomenal. You know, and I know they're good friends. You know, they were good friends in the French national team.
Yeah. Mark Andrew Adams is asking, what shirts did you keep, and where are your Cardiff medals? Have you still got your Cardiff medals? You know, from the
I've still got them. I've got really see a few shirts behind me now, can't you? But I've got a few others dotted around. I tried to change shirts with players that I played with. You know, I've got Darren Carter, I've got Andy Johnson, I've got people, Darren Pearce, I've got Dele Adebola. I got Dele Adebola against Bristol City at Wembley when Hull City beat them at Wembley. I've changed shirts with Dele, which was a nice touch. You know, even though he was on the losing end, and we went up to the Premier League. I just thought I'd rub his nose in it and change shirts with him. But yeah, you know, I sort of try and keep a few. I've given a lot of them away as well. You know, over the years, you know, people ask for shirts, we give them away. Can't keep them all, I guess.
And Mick James is asking, who was your favourite manager to work under, and why?
Well, my favourite manager to work under, which some people will probably find this strange, was probably Steve.
Yeah.
Steve Bruce. You know, I felt he got the best out of me, especially the year that we went up.
Yeah.
You know, I started the season off well under Trevor, and I think I scored about 6 goals in the first 9 or 10 games.
Yeah.
From midfield, but Trevor got sacked after the Barnsley game, I think, and that was the game that I broke my foot in away at Oakwell. So I was out for 3 months or so while Steve was sort of coming back to the club over the Christmas period into the January, and I only sort of got back fit and into the team end of Jan, beginning of Feb, I think it was. Then I sort of cemented my place and sort of stayed in the team and went on that magnificent run. But yeah, I just felt, you know, working with Steve, when I first got to the club as a 20-year-old, Steve was was the captain of the club. He was someone that I looked up to, you know, being a Premier League winner with Manchester United. You know, for him, so I had that respect for him straight away. And then when he came back to managers, and then just the way he interacted with the squad, you know, it was very, very, everything was at ease, and he just made people feel really comfortable, and sort of appreciated that, and I felt that, you know, in hindsight, looking back on it, I felt that he probably got the best out of me. He didn't give me the best opportunity once we got to the Premier League. I think early on, you know, that first few months, he started me against Arsenal, but then quite quickly, you know, we're not. Let's be honest, we're playing Arsenal, who had just previously won the league. We're not going to go there and expect to win, but we give a good account of ourselves. You know, Alusisi got sent off on the day. We lost 2-0. I didn't feel I had a bad game. I didn't feel I'd impacted the game. I just felt like I got eased out of the team probably too quickly after that. And then it took me a while to get back in. And I was on the bench numerous times, but you want to play. You're working all them years behind and all the heartache that you've had.
Yeah.
Play off your feet. You want to play in the Premier League. You want to show that you perform there. It took me a while to get Steve's trust, I think, really, to sort of, especially one of the midfield roles that I wanted to play.
Yeah, sure. And who was your football idol growing up, Bryan? Who did you idolise as a footballer as a kid?
I used to look closely at the likes of like Glenn Hoddle, then later on Gascoigne, people like that. They were sort of players that I'd sort of not model my game on, but just sort of relate to a little bit. You know, Glenn was very, very sort of lethargic, looking on the ball, but could pass a ball and could finish, and he had an eye for detail and passing ability, where Gazza was just a bit unpredictable at times, natural talent. Well, I think I had a little bit of both, but just they were the two that I sort of looked up to. But yeah, they're the two that stick out in my mind.
Yeah, exactly. Mine as well, Gazza. Gazza's my football hero as well, as a kid as well. Him and Gary Lineker were my two, yeah.
Yeah, I've been an Everton fan. The year Lineker came to Goodison, he was outstanding. I think he only stayed for 1 year, if I remember.
Yeah.
But he had a great season for Everton.
Yeah. And
no, I wouldn't say I didn't get on with anyone. I think I was sort of a likable sort of character there. I think when I first got to the club, Trevor sort of took me under his wing. I was 20 years old, coming from Liverpool. He took me under his wing a little bit, I got on well with his son Matthew, and then we sort of, I think it gave me a bit more an insight into Trevor as a person rather than my manager as well. And I think the lads used to sort of wind me up a little bit, thinking that I was like Trevor's little golden boy and stuff, but that wasn't the case. He could quite quickly drop me when he wanted to. I remember a game at Crewe where he took me off at half time. I was absolutely devastated. But yeah, it was just I seemed to get on with everyone. All the players. We had a great group, even of all the players that came through that era. It was just picking my 1 to 11 was so hard. Because there's so many people that spent a lot of time, on the training grounds, on coaches, in hotels. You don't just get to know them as a footballer. You get to know them as a person as well.
Yeah, sure. And who was the best player you ever played against in your career?
Cristiano Ronaldo, probably the best. Very unpredictable. I always found myself getting pushed onto the left. And usually when we played Man United, whatever team I played for, whether it was Birmingham or even at Hull City and Charlton, I ended up, every time we played Man United, I'd always end up being on the left. And it was always up against Ronaldo. So you want to impact the game and show people what you can do yourself personally. Most of the time in games like that, you're sort of defending. So you're sort of doubling up with your full-back to try and contain him. And it's so difficult, you don't know what way he was going to go at times. But yeah, definitely the best. There's so many as well, the Zolas, Bergkamps, Thierry Henry. There's just so many.
Yeah.
Those times that you were on TV as a footballer, did you tend to watch the game back again afterwards to assess your own performance?
Not necessarily to watch the game. If I'd scored, I'd like to watch it back and see what but yeah, not necessarily my own performance. Believe it or not, I'm not a big on TV now. I'm not a big fan of watching games on TV. I'd rather watch them live. And that's obviously that's why I enjoy going back, to the ground to St Andrews and helping with the media and watching the games live, because you can see things so much differently.
Yeah.
And who was the best and worst trainer that you were with at the Blues?
Best and worst trainer. Well, I can't call myself the best trainer, can I? But I was probably one of them. Best trainer, like I said, Barry was good when he was there. Mikel Forsell was pretty sharp. Trained hard even after training. Always working on his finishing. That natural instinct that he had. Martin Granger was a good trainer. That passion that he sort of shows on a match day. He'd bring that in training as well. So there was never any change in Granger's performance. It was just it was all or nothing. Training and also straight into games, which you sort of appreciate now. Now you look back. Obviously, you don't when you're on the end of one of his tackles in training, but yeah, you sort of in hindsight now looking back, you do appreciate that sort of mentality.
Yeah, and that side of the game's not really there as much now, is it? It's kind of different now, isn't it, to what it was back then? You can't put challenges in like that anymore, can you?
No, you can't. The rules of the game's changed as well, hasn't it? It can look and seem quite passive at times. The game, it's so slow, tempo slow. Where I watched our game back against Norwich when the Blues TV put it on a few weeks ago, And the tempo in that game from start to end, right the way through extra time, was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
The fitness levels that we must have had were incredible. You don't see that sort of tempo nowadays. It's slow build-up play, and then it's sharp and short bursts where we get to that attacking phase. Where back then it was just like end to end at times, which was
definitely
exciting for the neutral, I guess. But you don't realise it how quick it was back then compared to what it was now until you look back on some of the footage.
Yeah. And who disliked training the most? Would you say who was the worst trainer?
To be fair, there wasn't many worse trainers, but there was a lot of banter flying around in training. As you can imagine, we had a really good group.
Yeah.
Even right the way through, the championship teams that I played with, up to the Premier League teams that I played with. I think it was a bit, when we got to the Premier League, there was definitely more seriousness about it in training. There was more focus on, because, being a Premier League player then, and the standards that you have to hit and the plays that you're coming up against, it had to be sort of a lot more tactical at times.
Sure.
Coming through with the championship lads, the team spirit was just bouncing every day we'd be around training, even the injured lads. And, some managers don't like the injured lads around, the lads that are fit. Back then, the injured lads were just as much as part of the team as the playing staff.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to switch to audio. We're going to go offline for a couple of seconds because there's something I want to read you that we got notice of today. So I'll be back visually in a minute, but just stay with me for 10 seconds, if you would. Now, this is from our good friend, Tom Ross, friend of the show. And what he wrote today on his Facebook page was as follows. Can I just say to all my family, friends and followers that in this most stressful and difficult of times, we sometimes overlook the impact this lockdown can have on our mental health. Most of us will be able to cope because we have a loving family around us and in touch either by social media, Zoom or whatever. Sadly, some people, even with family, can find the stress too much to deal with, leading to anxiety and depression, while with those on their own risks is even greater. If you know people living on their own, then take a few minutes to talk to them, practicing social distance, of course. It seems like a slogan or a cliche, but it's so true that it's okay not to be okay. Talk to friends or family, keep in touch, be a good friend. Some cracking words there from Tom.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. I think it's really big at the moment, isn't it? The mental health side, especially in the game, in the football game.
Yeah. Well, I've suffered from it myself, right? Okay. Earlier on in the year, I've had a bad back for about 28 years. I've had 3 lots of failed surgery on it, one thing or another. And earlier on in the year, I was like proper rock bottom because I just could not get this out of this cycle of constant pain. And it is literally every minute of every day that I'm awake, yeah? So I went on a 6-week pain management course and the physiotherapist there could see it in my face. She could see it and she took me aside and said, look, you've got to get out. I've been like this all my life, Dalton. No, she says, no, think about it. She says, it's not just your back. And since I've been on medication, I can tell you that the pain has decreased.
Yeah.
Right. Because I'm not thinking about it all the time. It's not grating me. It's not, mine is a physical thing, right, which has caused me to go like, and I was just antisocial. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to do anything. And I'm perfectly fine now. Thank you. So just a few weeks later. So it is okay to get tablets, guys and girls.
No, it is. And it's some great words there from Tom. He's
a lovely man, and
he's a fantastic man.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who've suffered with depression and anxiety. Players, one of my good friends, Dean Windas, who plays at the Hull, he suffered with it. He openly speaks about it now, which is really great, and he's getting his life back on track.
Again, that's the absolute reason we've decided, between the 3 of us and the rest of the team in the background, to carry this on all through the summer, is so that we can keep in touch with people. They know where we are. If anybody wants anything, they know we're here. I know that they're there, and we are just a massive Blues family. We're just right. For a fact, if you needed, right, you've only got to speak out, and somebody will be there for you without a doubt.
Yeah, and that's great from the Birmingham fans' point of view, isn't it? Because you know, my memories of the fans is just that passion, the togetherness, you know, and like you say, them sort of words that you're talking about there, it sums the whole club and the fan base up perfectly.
Yeah. And believe me, I'll tell you what, wow, they are a proper family. Sure, man, they've helped me out so much personally, yeah. And I'll go and I get to Bar 8 on a game day. First thing through the door, right hand side, all my disabled friends are there. It's just brilliant to see them going to football. And the flag today. Did you see the flag, Paul? That Daniel Ricketts got off Steve Portman.
No.
Mate, look it up in a bit. It's absolutely superb.
Okay, yeah.
It's got written on the bottom. We all fit in somewhere, and Birmingham City is the right place to be.
Yeah. That's very true.
Brilliant.
Super.
While we're on the subject of our fans, Bryan, Mark Andrew Adams is asking: Did any of our players in general really? Did you ever comment amongst yourselves about the atmosphere at St Andrews?
Yeah. We used to speak all the time. You know, our fan base was great, home and away as well. The away fan base is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But you know, that one thing that sticks in my mind, going back all them years, you know, is when substitutions used to happen. And the crowd would the name would be spoken on the tannoy, and then the crowd would be who? And it'd be like, who are you? And it was just like incredible, you know, as a player to feel that.
When I go to sit by the away supporters, if I go to sit up by the away supporters and we do that, the looks on their faces, mate, it's superb.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's one of the best things I've heard.
Yeah, I remember when Michael Owen came on and we did it. That was quite funny.
I know, that's what I mean. There's no boundaries with it, is it? You know, it can be absolutely one of the best players in the world, and you can just
nobody with it. It still goes on there. It's brilliant.
Pretty sure it'll affect him straight away. Do you know what I mean?
But the best bit, last year it was sponsored by Booker Pies. It's sponsored by somebody else this year. And we're even now singing "ooh" to the sponsor.
Yeah, proper fans.
Brilliant stuff. But no, Tom, nice guy, cracking bloke. Always got a good word to say about it. Never a bad word to say about anybody.
No, he's a top man, Tom. Really top man. You know, he's had such an association with the club all them years, hasn't he? You know, he's got the Blues blood running through. You know, so it'll be strong words coming from someone like him, especially to the fans anyway.
One of the best bits of commentary he ever did for me was when we beat West Ham in the semi-final of the Carling Cup.
Yeah.
And sounds of bubbles are popping all over the East End.
Yeah, he's a legend, isn't he?
Yeah, and then when Big Ziggits got fouled, right, and Tom was on the radio, and I was actually listening to it from home because for whatever reason, probably work, I couldn't go to the game. And Tom said he trod on him 9 times. He said he's trodden on him. He trod on him. 9 times. Me and my lad were counting them. We were laughing our socks off. But yes, he's brilliant. What's your thoughts on Hogan's indication at the moment that he may want to stay?
Brilliant. I think I've seen some of the games, I'll commentate on some of the games before the lockdown. And you know, when Hogan came to the club, I remember speaking to Dale and Colin Tatum and saying he's the striker that we've been missing. You know, he'll help with the workload because the fans will love him because he's got them work ethics. But he scores goals. You know, he runs behind. And I think we were lacking that. We didn't have anyone who make the runs behind. That creates space for other people. So I think you know, I think he's been a breath of fresh air since he's come, Hogan, and hopefully he'll stay.
Yeah,
Sorry, Nick.
Go on, sorry, Paul, carry on.
I was just going to say, what do you make of our team today, Bryan? What do you think of the team we got now, the squad and players?
Yeah, I think it's exciting. I think there's definitely an exciting team there. You know, Bellingham, whether he stays at the club or not, you know, it's a young team. You know, mixed with a little bit of experience, like Harley Dean and stuff. But yeah, there's definitely scope for them to grow and get better.
Yeah.
But like I know, you know, it's there's a lot of pressure on managers nowadays, so you need things to happen quite quickly. You know, even if you've got the backing of the board and the fans, and you're looking to introduce some of the youth, because we have got some great youth coming through at Birmingham City.
Yeah.
If you've got that backing to introduce that, I think, you know, you potentially, not looking over the next year or two, over the next 3 to 5 years, we might have a serious team on our hands that could really challenge and get into the Premier League.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Sorry, Nick.
I can't remember what I was going to say now, Paul.
It was only 30 seconds ago.
Can't help it. I'm being... Yeah, 1 to 11.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, we need to come on to your 1 to 11, Brian. Yeah, it's 8 already. This time flies, like we said. So yeah, shall we do that now?
Yeah, let's crack on with it. Yeah, it's about attack. This has been difficult, by the way.
Yeah, how long has it took you to do this? A couple of weeks.
Yeah, I've been looking at it. I've changed it a few times. But I've gone with the pair. I've gone with a team that I think has got structure as well as goals. You know, I'm a guy with goals. I like goals. I like a bit of flair.
Don't we all?
But also a defensive structure there, a bit of stability there as well. A good spine to the team.
Okay, so what formation you gone for?
4-3-3, could be a 4-4-2, whichever way you want to look at it. So there's scope there to change at times. But yeah, do you want me to start with my goalkeeper?
Please.
Well, the goalkeeper, you know, it was a difficult one. You know, I played with Ian Bennett, played with Nico Vassin, Kevin Poole, Mike Taylor.
Some quality there.
Yeah, very good goalkeepers. I think
out of all of them, I'm going to go with Mike.
Yeah.
You know, all the others were fantastic. You know, really good goalkeepers, but Mike just had this character. You know, that was he just oozed quality as well. Yeah. You know, being an international goalkeeper as well probably helped that. He was fantastic.
Had a presence about him, didn't he?
Yeah, he was a massive presence, good talker, clear in his instructions as well, you know, which is always good when you're in defensive situations. But yeah, Mike was great, you know, coming into the team in the Premier League era now. You know, I've got a mixture of Premier League and Championship eras. But do
you remember his save at Manchester City from Sibierski?
Yeah, absolutely.
That was that was unhuman. It was unbelievable. That was, wasn't it?
Yeah, unbelievable. But yeah, that's what I mean. All the goalkeepers could produce something brilliant. You know, Nico Vassin in getting us to the Premier League. You know, the penalty saves. You know, Ian Bennett, stalwart of the club, being a fantastic servant. You know, Kevin Poole when he was there as well. So that was a difficult decision, but I just felt Mike, you know, had that just a little bit more presence, and like I say, that sort of communication, that defensive structure. I think was critical in my decision making, really.
Sure.
Back four, I'm going to go right back first. I'm going to go for Gary Rowett.
Yeah.
Obviously, an ex-manager of the club, plays with Gary numerous years. Again, a championship player at the time with us. It was a difficult one. It was a toss-up between him and, well, there was three really: him, Jeff, or Nicky Eden. Obviously, there was other people there, like Gilly and Jonathan Bass, people that I played with over the years. But I've gone with Gary. Again, he has a knack of scoring goals as well. You know, he was good at plays. And he was a good leader. He was good. You know, again, another good speaker. You know, Jeff Kenner was good at that as well, to be fair. Good at defending space, good at attacking, both of them really. So that was a close call as well. But I've gone for Gary Wright.
Yeah, excellent player Gary Wright was, wasn't
he? Yeah, he was. Left back, I've gone for Martin Granger.
Yeah.
You know, again, another championship, played Premier League as well. But
he's in next.
Sorry?
He's on next week.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. He's a top lad, Grange. Really good lad, you know. He came just before me, I think, you know, that season before. I think 96, 97 season. But great lad. Again, looking for qualities, passionate, strong in the tackle, can score goals, can create goals, delivery was fantastic, and could ultimately defend. You know, put his head in anywhere. You know, so straight away you sort of build in a defensive mindset there straight away. You know, other players have played there, like you know Jamie Clapham, Simon Charlton, all fantastic players. Well, Grange just edged him for me. You know, especially with me going a little bit more flair up top. I think a little bit more security defensively, but also, like I say, adding to goals and assists as well.
Yeah.
My pair of centre-backs was a difficult one. You know, playing with Percy, Jono, Oldsworth, Darren Wassell, Brucey, Gary Abley, all the way through them eras. But I didn't, even though they were all fantastic lads, fantastic players in their own right, I've gone for the partnership of Cunningham and Upson.
Yeah.
And I'm going to, they're the sort of two that, Kenny Cunningham he was fantastic for us. When he came to the club in the Premier League era, he was like a breath of fresh air. He read the game well. He reminded me of Steve Bruce, the way he played.
Yeah, he was fantastic, wasn't he?
But he was such a good lad as well. He had a voice in the dressing room. Very, very good for the players. Wanted something back off Steve. He'd be one of the guys who'd go and speak to Steve directly. And when Upson came as well in the January, them two formed an absolutely fantastic partnership. I know Upson sort of injuries sort of not prolonged his career, but sort of got in the way of his Blues career late on. But as a parent, absolutely fantastic. Matthew Upson as a defender, he was like a spider. At times, he was only young. He's still young when he came to the club, but he was the perfect foil for Cunningham. Because he was quick. Kenny read the game well. Matthew mocked things up. It was just a really good partnership. That's my back four. That's who I've gone for. So a bit of solidarity, understanding, passion, and they've all got goals. Apart from Kenny, we'll keep him back.
I'd say that's the best partnership I've seen as well, Bryan, at the back. There's two centre halves in all my years going. Cunningham and Upson are the best.
That's not being disrespectful to like Percy and John, Brucey, Abley, people like that. Fantastic players. I was contemplating going to a back three actually, but I just thought as a partnership they were good together.
They're excellent, yeah.
Sort of stuck with
Scott
me.
Dan Roger Johnson partnership was good as well, though, wasn't it?
It was, a bit after Brian's time, but it was good. Yeah. I'd go Cunningham and Upson, though. I would personally. That's just my opinion, but from what I saw, I'd go with Cunningham and
Upson. Just moving into midfield. I've gone for sort of a three in midfield. Sitting in there, I've gone for Martin O'Connor.
Done it again. Everyone we have on here that's played with him always puts him in every time.
Yeah, because he's one of these he's one of these players and these characters that sort of good. His qualities go unnoticed a little bit at times.
Yeah.
He was a great foil for me. When I played midfield, when Trevor used to play me in centre midfield off Steve, he was a great foil for me. In there because he'd sit in there and he'd give me a bit of security where I can actually go and be in areas of the pitch where I can actually air teams or create something or score a goal. And he was good like that. He was the captain of the team as well when Steve left. He was obviously, I think I played 5 or 6 years with Martin. And he was great, in the dressing room, one of the lads who could have a good laugh and a joke, but also one who could be quite strict, especially on the pitch, demanded standards at times. He was just one of these players that he was one of the, when building the team here like a structure, one of these ones that I know you can trust and you can rely on. And he can sit in that midfield and let the other ones go and enjoy themselves, really. Hunter Martin, I've got alongside, right side of Martin, I've got Robbie Savage. Playing with Sav, even though sometimes he used to infuriate me playing alongside him because even though he was fantastic, he did lack a bit of discipline at times and he'd run here, there and everywhere trying to chase balls. He was just, at that time and in the Premier League era, he was perfect for what we needed. He was full of energy, disrupt the opposition, whether it be with his football or whether it be with his banter or his mouth. He just had something different to what we'd had previously. And I just felt he had to be in the team. I know he left on certain terms when he left the Blues, but he was great for them few years that he was there. So I put Robbie in there. And then left side of Martin, I've gone with could have gone with quite a few, but I've gone with Stan Lazaridis, a really good friend of mine as well when I was there at the club. Just such a direct player, great talent, energy levels again, quick, runs quicker with the ball than without. and there's not many players like that.
No.
You know, I played with some great midfielders there. You know, being a midfielder, you know, David Dunn. Even though David Dunn was a talent, but we didn't see the best of David. Unfortunately, you know, there's injuries and stuff. But what an unbelievable talent Dunn he was.
Yeah.
You know, the likes of Graham Hyde, Stephen Clements, Danny Sonner, there's so many. You know, Chris Marston.
Yeah.
All really good players who had an influence at that time. But they're the sort of three midfielders that I've gone with.
Yeah.
And also it can change to a four with Stan and going to the left and one of the forwards going to the right once you get to the forwards.
Yeah, sure.
Right,
listen to this one then.
Yeah, my front three. I've gone with. This was the one that I was pulling and choosing from. I've gone with Peter Unlove.
Yeah, what a player.
On the right, I've gone with, well, as a three, whatever way you want to play it. I've gone with Unlove on the right because he was just such a phenomenal talent, Peter Unlove.
And a speed, wasn't he?
He had so much ability. It was unbelievable. You know, he could twist, he could score goals. A great lad as well in the dressing room. One of the funniest guys ever. And he was just such his natural ability. You know, he's international for his country. He just seemed to have been around for years as well. You know, when he came to us, I think he was like 25 or something. And he'd been playing for Coventry for about 10 years. Scoring goals for fun in the Premier League, hat-tricks at Anfield in front of the Kop. It was just a breath of fresh air when he came, and he forged a great partnership up there in that era with, you know, Addy Bowler and Fairlawn and people like that. We had a really good forward line back then.
Yeah. I was surprised we got Peter Unlove, to be honest, obviously from the Premier League and all that, you know, at the time. I remember being surprised when we signed him, and Stan as well from West Ham, and obviously Gary Rowett as well from Derby. You know, they were all Premier League players, weren't they?
Yeah, I think we could have got more out of Peter. I think Steve let him go, didn't he? But I think he could have carried on with us for a few more years. Especially once we got to the Premier League, because he had an unpredictability about him. He could turn things into nothing. Yeah. And he had to go on the team. He had to. When I looked at it, I want goals. I want a bit of flair. I want a bit of creativity. And Peter had to go in it.
Yeah.
But again, up front, I've gone for Mikel Forsell.
Yeah.
Again, another Premier League era. When we got him from Chelsea, it's just I seem to have a good understanding with Mikel.
Yeah.
Like I said with Christoph, I had a really good understanding with him. And the beauty about this forward line, I had so many good forwards to choose from. You know, like I said at the start of the show, it's not being disrespectful to any of the ones there. Just what I thought was the best ones I played with at the time. Forsell was great, you know. He just had a natural instinct in front of goal, but he also had a bit of individualism as well, where he could just do something out of nothing. And he's made my team as well, even though he took the penalty off me against Leeds. I've still put him in. Because he was a good lad as well, and you know, I was the first one to congratulate him when he scored that penalty. And we're still friends now. You know, we still follow each other on Instagram and stuff like that. So I've gone for Miguel, and lastly but not least, you know, it has to be Christoph. Got to be Dugarry. Like I said at the start, he's probably the best player that I've played with. Even though it was for a short spell. In that spell, he made such an impact on the club, not just me, just on the whole club and the fan base. It was a pleasure to play with. You know, like I said with Mikel, I seem to have a good understanding with Christoph. Good understanding with Forsell. And like I say, that team could change. Peter could go on the right. You know, Dugarry and Forsell could go up front, or you could keep it with a 4-3-3. And that, to be fair, the front line was difficult. You know, I was contemplating Horse, because Horse was amazing as well. Absolutely fantastic. Daly, Paul Fairlong, Stan John. There was just so many great players that I feel very privileged to have played alongside.
Yeah. And going back to your goals, Bryan, that first one at Stoke in the 7-0 as well, when you cut in on the right and absolutely belted it in the bottom corner. That was a memorable time, wasn't it?
That was the second one.
Was it the second one? Oh,
yeah,
okay. I thought it was, oh no, Nicky Forster got the first one, didn't they?
No, I got the first as well. But mine was a flying header from 6 yards out.
my reputation's going downhill here for a good memory.
Yeah, I got the first one. It was an header from about 6 yards out. Just got there in front of the keeper.
I remember it now. Yeah.
Second one was the
game. I was at the
second
game.
one was the one where I cut inside.
Got a bit airy, didn't it? That one.
Yeah, it was a fantastic game. That one. 7-0. Going to Stoke, beating them the way we did, so convincing. It could have been more.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great day. That.
Keep rubbing it in. I've got a Stoke fan sitting next to me. Ex-Stoke fan. She's been to the Blues now. She's been cleansed.
Oh, that's good. Good news.
Brilliant.
Oh dear. Okay, just going off football for about a minute and a half. And I don't know the latest update on this, but I'm sure you've all seen the damage that was caused at the Borsley Labour Club. They're good friends of ours, good friends of the show, and for horrible people to break and do what they did over there was just damn disgusting. You filthy, feral, horrible scroats. I hope your arms drop off, to be perfectly honest with you. Now, if anybody's got any information, either get hold of what's his name? Ian Connor. Terrible, honestly. I'm like it all the time, honestly. Yeah, get Ian Connor and get in touch and let's get these foul, horrible people that robbed all their machines and took all the stock and everything. Let's get them found and dealt with. Vile people. That's the club we go to when we go to away days. We catch the bus from there, so always lay on a decent breakfast for us. Lovely guys. Came in a few months ago, didn't you, Chris? Yeah, and they've got a box.
I think they've done a few things with the players there, haven't they? I think.
Oh yeah, superb.
Charity nights and stuff.
Well, we were supposed to be doing one because we started a charity up in January for PTSD, but obviously we've had to put that on hold now. So, but we had a woman on here the other week, Auntie Linda. Well, she's Grandma Linda, really. And she had her head shaved by a 9-year-old child, a 9-year-old grandson.
Okay.
Shaved her all her hair off. 800 quid she got just under.
Oh, brilliant.
I mean, yeah. We had 2 signed shirts. We got 160 for one and 110 for the other. I can't remember, Chris. Yes, something like that. Yeah. And we've just got so much other things planned as well, but we've had to put it all on hold. So we'll crack on with it once all this is over. We'll bring it back again. And we're supposed to be finishing it on VE Day, because they were shutting all the town off and having a big parade and one thing and another. So, yeah, never mind. These things are sent to try us out, aren't they?
Yeah, you've got to try and stay positive. Sure, it'll all end soon. You
can't let it beat you, though, can you? You've got to crack it, haven't you? Like we've started this, and it was specifically for Sharon's son, who was killed 10 years ago in Afghanistan.
Oh wow.
And what she's in touch with a lot of soldiers now. Most of them have come out of the army since, and you know what? When she talks to them, you can hear it in the voice, man. You can hear them cracking up, and they won't go outside. Some of them sleep under the beds and do all sorts of stuff. It's crazy, man. So, but with the Linda's money's already gone straight to the charity, so that's already been done. So thank you ever so much for that, and we'll carry it on as soon as this malarkey is all over. Right, okay. How are gone, Bryan? Did we warn you about that?
Yeah, it does go quick, doesn't it?
Flies, doesn't it? Yeah. Just quickly before we go, Bryan, is there any good pranks you can tell us about? Anything that you can tell us?
Probably not. Pranks about some.
Or without getting in trouble.
Pranks about some of the team. No, I have to keep them under wraps. I think there's a few that I could tell you though. I'll leave that. There's a few. Yeah, go on.
Terrible.
I'll tell you one thing that I remember from the time at Birmingham was when I first got to the club. Training, being this cocksure scouser coming into probably like really experienced group on the training grounds and having a little bit of a rondo circle. And Kevin Francis was there, 6'7". First time I'd ever seen someone that size before in my life. And being the player I was, I put the ball through his legs and called Megs. And he came back at me when the ball comes, so I put it back through his legs and said Megs. And then he came at me the next time, and I don't remember much. He actually cleaned me out. He absolutely just scissor kicked me into. I went about 6 foot in the air, landed on the back. And he said to me while on the floor, "That's the last time you'll do that." Yeah, what a great guy.
He'd still got it at that age as well, hadn't he? He could still play.
Yeah, these legs just come from nowhere and just absolutely cleaned me out. But, yeah, that was definitely one of the memories. I'll never forget that moment.
Yeah, been a pleasure talking to you, Bryan.
All the memories.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, guys. Thanks for your time.
That flying header, the one that nearly was.
Yeah, I know.
Ones that were.
We haven't even talked about the fifth penalty that I was on, and Darren taking the fourth.
Oh yeah, you were down for you were up next, weren't you, after Darren?
I was down for 4 before the game. I was on the fourth one before the game.
Oh, was you? Okay.
Yeah, because Bruce had fallen out with Brucey before the match, actually the day before, because he said he wanted Tommy Mooney on the fifth penalty taker. And I said, "Oh no, I take the fifth penalty." And he said, "No, I want Tommy to take it." So I was fuming anyway going into the game, and I was on number 4. So when Tommy got substituted and the penalties come, I changed to number 5 and give Darren his moment in the glory.
Oh, okay.
Nice, mate. That was our moment in glory as well back then.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. Local boy, it deserved that.
Well, we've had a birthday in the room tonight. It's Ellen's birthday. That's Chris's wife. So we all wish her a very happy birthday. Happy birthday to Ellen. We have got to go now. This has been the Tilton Talk Show with, of course, Bryan Hughes, the legend that is. Come back and see us when all this is over, Bryan, and have a proper chat at some point. You're always welcome. Always welcome. The door's always open unless it's shut. We are the lads from this has been the Tilton Talk Show. Next Monday night, Martin Granger. Next Monday night, 7:30 till 8:30. Be here. And we'll perhaps try and wheedle some stories about Bryan out next week. Bryan, thanks, mate, and I really appreciate you giving me time, especially in these hard times, my friend. Thank you so very much.
Thanks. It's been a pleasure, guys.
What a man, what a star. What an absolute blessing to be a Birmingham City supporter and come and watch you play, mate. I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Thanks for the memories, mate. Thanks for the memories and moments.
Too right.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Stay safe, buddy. We'll see you back here next week. Take care. Good night. God bless and keep right on.
Helping and sharing the load. It's worth the point at home. When we sing together, we're there at the end of the road. We are the lads.
Away days are great, but there's nothing quite like playing at home. The same goes for McDonald's. Maximise your home ground advantage with McDelivery. Order now on the McDonald's app. At participating restaurants, 18 plus, serving times, delivery fee and terms apply. See mcdonalds.com.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.